I'm about to share with you exactly what I eat and drink in a day to stay healthy, lean, and fit and energized over the age of 50. And I want to share how this changed. I'm going to give you the actual breakdown of what I specifically do in a day, even though I want to preface that with what I do may not be exactly what you should do. We're all unique. We're all individual. We're all different. I'm going to answer this for you and share it because I've been asked this before. And I want you to be able to incorporate some of what I'm sharing in, but just know that we're all on our unique journey and you get to be your own health detective. Here's exactly what I do and why it's changed over the years. So first and foremost, my background is fitness, fat loss, and nutrition. And that's what I helped women with for years and years and years. This is what I taught. This is what I know. I based everything on unprocessed natural real food. I still primarily eat unprocessed natural real food. But some things have changed because there's an importance after the age of 50 specifically, because as we age, our bodies undergo significant changes that affect our nutritional needs. So maintaining a balanced diet and on-point diet becomes even more critical to support healthy aging and to continue living a dynamic, active lifestyle, which I know that you want, or you wouldn't be here listening to me about this. My goal has changed because over the years, I was hit with a lot of things that slapped me upside the head. I'll be really real with you. I was plugging along like a lot of us do in our 30s and 40s, thinking, I've got this. I know what I'm doing here. It's not going to change as I age. I'll keep doing more of the same and it will keep going. But this has greatly changed over the years. What had to happen to me was what some of you might recognize. I started getting some injuries. I started having a slowed metabolism. I started getting what I call that midlife thickening. Some things started to change. And I started to just know that my energy and my focus was not the same. And I knew it was more than just tweaking hormones. I knew it was more than just monitoring my blood sugar. I knew that something was off. And so I started digging really into the aging process and what changes. And what I learned was that there are a few things that are absolutely more important to incorporate as we age, like adding in more protein. We've got to add in more protein to maintain muscle mass. You see why we get that midlife thickening? A lot of the reason is we're losing muscle mass. And if we can add in more protein and add in weight training and do those things, we're going to have less of that going on as a problem. Here's exactly what I do in a day. And I'll tell you that my goals are specifically more hydration, lots of phytonutrients, which we get from low glycemic fruits and vegetables, and lots of lean protein. Doing the whole eat my body weight in protein. That's not what I'm doing in a day, but I do aim to get about 80 to 90 grams a day. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so here's exactly what I do. This is what I eat. This is what I take. This is what I do throughout the whole day. So number one, before I even roll out of bed in the morning, it's on my nightstand right next to my bed. I have glutathione, vitamin D, and my hydrogen water. It's the first thing I do every morning. Then I love to walk first thing in the morning. I live outside of Scottsdale, Arizona right now. So it is hot, very hot during the day. So I got to walk first thing. So the first thing I do is I go on my walk. Now, typically, because I'm not a great person at just not having anything in my stomach, I'll have a little bite of something. So like 6 almonds or a little bite of a perfect food bar, just something like that, just to get me going. And I take something called ketone minerals, which is basically seawater that's been sterilized. And it is so good. Maybe it's psychological for me, but that's what I have in the morning. And then I go walk. And usually on my walk, I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an Audible. I'm listening to something, but I start moving my body and sweating. As soon as I get home, I mix my little gut health drink. And I'll link everything, by the way, below, but I do Dr. Anna Kabecka's Keto Greens and I do my Bio Optimizer's gut drink. And I love that. It's the first thing I do. So then I'm home from my walk and I take a shower and I'm ready for my breakfast. Now, what I do is I aim for tons of water at that first meal, a protein-packed breakfast. So typically for me, that's a few whole eggs with lots of veggies. And I do something that you might think is weird, but this is what I do. I trickle olive oil on it. Olive oil is so good for us. And I'm all about those healthy fats. And I love the taste of olive oil. So I'll use some salt. I use Vera salt and I use some olive oil on my eggs. I know that sounds weird, but I swear it's not weird. It tastes really good. And I'll do fruit, whether it's mixed berries, maybe it's a small plum, but it's something. But that's my breakfast. So I'm getting my protein, my eggs, my vegetables, my olive oil is my fat. And I'm getting some fruit, which is my carbs. So that's how I start. Now, sometimes I don't want that and I'll have something a little different. Sometimes I'll have an occasional smoothie. And if I have a smoothie, I'm going to have lots of berries. I'm going to have a big scoop of protein. I'll add some collagen in there. I'll add some vegetables. And that's what I have for breakfast. Now, with my breakfast, I always have a digestive enzyme and I have probiotic and I have my multivitamin pack. Now, I do enzymes because after the age of 35, we do not produce as many enzymes. So it's not so much just what we're eating, it's what we're actually actually digesting and absorbing. So I find by adding enzymes back in, I'm actually getting more bang for my buck. I'm actually going to process those nutrients. I'm actually going to get all of that in my system. And I do not get the bloating. I do not get the stomach issues when I have those digestive enzymes. So I use Bioptimizer's enzyme and probiotic. Don't worry if you're driving or you're watching this on the go, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on the podcast, I'm going to link everything below so you know what I'm talking about here. And then I do my custom vitamin packs. Now, maybe I'm a little bit of a weird freak, but I love this. I get my blood tested every 4 months. And then based on that, I have a little custom vitamin pack from Optimize Nutrition that basically gives me what I need in those packs. So that's what I do. That's my breakfast. Okay. So then I go about my day, and lunch, same kind of thing. Protein is my focus. Abundance of greens and vegetables. I am not enrolled in the whole vegetables are bad for us. I love vegetables. I understand some people are sensitive to oxalates, but it's actually a very small amount of people that have that as a problem. So I have lots of greens and vegetables, and then I do some type of fat, like whether it's nuts or seeds or some avocado. Now, here's the thing to know. My protein choices like chicken or turkey or fish. Tuna is a lot that I'll have. I'll use a brand called Safe Catch Tuna, which is a great tuna brand. I'm also going to take my enzymes and probiotics again with that lunch, drink lots of water. Now, when you look at portions, what I do is I go kind of heavier on the protein. If you're somebody that's working on fat loss, I do encourage you to look at portions. So a good rule of thumb is kind of like the palm of your hand would be a great protein to sort of start with. If you're having the fat, look at the size of your thumb. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're on a weight loss journey, you would want to look at that. And then your carbs, your vegetables, which vegetables are carbs, I do unlimited. If I was doing a starchy carb, like a potato or rice, which I rarely do, but if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a smaller portion of that. So about the size of my fist. But if I'm still hungry, I'm going to add more protein. I'm going to add more vegetables, and I'm going to add more of the healthy fats first. That's my lunch. Then for snacks, I don't typically have a lot of snacks, but if I can get it in, I love to like snack on some bone broth. I might have some raw nuts later in the day, maybe some more fresh fruit and vegetables, sometimes maybe some vegetables and some hummus. But bone broth is like my go-to. I'm always sipping on bone broth. It's so good for our gut. It's so good for our joints, great for our hair, our skin, our nails. So it's like the real source of collagen. So sipping on bone broth is big. And then one of my favorite little treats that I usually have as a snack in the afternoon is a piece of dark chocolate. I love the brand Living Ratio. Again, I'm going to link all this below if you want to see exactly what I'm doing, because my friend Jonathan owns that company and he makes these decadent chocolates that are so good for you. He sources the best, most amazing chocolate. They look like Godiva truffles, but they're all healthy and amazing for us, all different flavors. And I'm a member of his club. So I get a box of these truffles every month. So I eat those as a snack and they're so good. Okay. So moving on to dinner. What do I do for dinner? For dinner, I do another protein, and then I'll do either a big, huge salad or more vegetables. If I'm going to have my starchy carbs, this might be when I do it. Maybe it's a yam or a sweet potato. Sometimes I'll have some rice, but I really am doing more protein, lots of vegetables, and I'm using some healthy oils here, whether it's olive oil or avocado oil. That's my choice. My husband loves to cook with ghee. I don't love ghee, but I do either, olive oil or avocado oil is what I do. Tons of vegetables. I play a game with myself every day. How many vegetables can I get in? How many phytonutrients? In fact, my husband teases me. He says that I'm like a brontosaurus because I'm like constantly munching on raw vegetables, but I crave them. That's what I do. That's what I love. And always my enzyme and probiotic. And then I take my nightly multivitamin pack. That's what I eat in a day. And as far as hydration, like I'm drinking water throughout the day all the time. I drink water. I might drink some tea. I drink herbal teas. That's something. Sometimes I'll drink someone a little caffeine. I avoid sugary drinks. I avoid artificial sweeteners. I'm not a fan of artificial sweeteners. If I want something sweet, which I rarely do, I got to be honest with you. And I know that maybe sounds weird, but ever since cleaning up my gut health and really balancing how I'm eating, I don't have a lot of sweet cravings. My goal for myself is like never hungry, never stuffed. And that's what I teach clients that come through my fat loss plans is like never hungry, never stuffed, no deprivation, and focusing on unprocessed, natural, real food. That's what I do. I wanted to make sure you knew that because that's a question I commonly get, especially on Instagram. Like, can you give us a sample of what you eat? That's what I eat. Now, if you're thinking that sounds like low calorie or that's not enough, it's plenty of calories. I eat plenty. What I didn't go over was exact portions for me, but I'm not measuring my protein. I'm not measuring my vegetables. I'm not measuring my fat at this point. I'm eating it to feel good and to fuel myself. And that's what I do. And nothing is really off limits, but I look at, can I have mostly unprocessed, natural, real food that makes me feel good, that makes me feel focused, that makes me feel energized. That is what I do. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure you subscribe if you have not done this so far. far. If you're on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit subscribe so you do not miss a show episode. If you're listening in on my podcast, make sure you hit follow the show so you can make sure to get notified of all new episodes. If this was helpful, please let me know. Let me know on Instagram. Let me know in the comments. Let me know that you like some of these solo episodes and I'm happy to do more. And then please check out the show notes, check out below, because I want to make sure you grab my free age optimizing guide where I link all of the things I talked about, discounts, all of that. It's all right there for you. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.